Hello and welcome to Wild Heart Yoga Holistic Healing for today's short Yin Yoga therapy class. Today we'll be talking about confidence and self-esteem. Let's begin in any comfortable seat with just taking a few deep yogic breaths together. Drawing our breath into the dantian, that low belly space. And exhale fully and slowly as you just notice anything happening in the mind or the body right now. Taking note of how you feel before we begin today's practice. Again, inhale, feeling that low belly rise as you lengthen through the spine. And let it go, sinking deeper into the present moment. Take one more deep breath and exhale, setting an intention to let go of anything that isn't serving you in this moment. When you're ready, let's begin standing at the center of our mat for our first asana. Begin by spreading the legs as wide as is comfortable for you today. Pigeoning the toes in just slightly so we protect our knees here. Take an inhale, making sure your spine is straight. As you exhale, begin to fold forward from the hips, maintaining that flat back. Once you're as far as you can go with that flat spine, take one more inhale, lengthening, and exhale, allowing the chest and head to melt forward now, crown of the head reaching towards the mat. Head and neck hanging heavy, arms just dangling here, or maybe grabbing opposite elbows. And now we're going to just gently turn the foot toward that pinky toe edge. So we're getting into our lateral shins as well. Take a deep inhale. As you exhale, let go of any remaining resistance, just allowing the whole body to be heavy here. Keeping a soft bend in the knees if you have any pain in the low back. We will be here for 3 minutes. We're holding our poses for an extended period of time today in order to release the deepest layers of fascia and connective tissue. Many of us hold stored emotional energy in the body physically, specifically in the fascia, since 80% of our nerve pathways end in the fascia. So your job today is just to find stillness once you find that edge, that place where you feel a deep stretch, where you're able to maintain control over the breath, and then just stay aware of anything that comes up for you, any patterns in thought or emotions, being aware of physical sensations or shifts in what you feel physically. Bringing a deeper mindfulness into our practice and simply choosing to shift your awareness back to the breath and back into the body anytime you notice your mind has begun to wander. Awareness is one of the first steps we can take towards beginning to change our relationship with ourselves. Noticing how we speak to ourselves, the things we spend our energy and time focusing on. So I'd invite you now, in the next several moments of stillness, to practice this concept of awareness, simply noticing whatever comes up for you. Great job. In your own time, gently bring the feet a little closer together. And as you exhale, begin to squat down into our yogic squat, making sure both heels stay planted on the floor, maybe sitting on a block or a bolster if you have trouble getting this low today. Take a deep inhale, making sure the spine is straight. And exhale, letting go of tension. And we won't be here long. We're just preventing a head rush, making sure no one passes out before we transition to our next pose. When you're ready, in your own time, find your way into tabletop. Hips above the knees, shoulders above the wrists. And then gently step the right foot forward, finding about a 90-degree angle with the front leg and the back leg here. Inhale, lengthening through the spine, tucking the hips under and pulling the belly button into the spine here. Then we're going to interlace the hands, placing them on that front knee. With your next exhale, while pressing the pelvis forward, rounds through the upper back, chin tucking toward the chest. Here we are targeting a release through our hip flexor and psoas area. Make sure you're keeping the hips square by thinking about pushing that left hip forward and pulling the right hip back slightly. Inhaling deep into the areas of tension. And exhale slowly and fully, imagining that tension melt out of the body. For today's class, we are targeting meridians of both the water and the earth element by focusing on targeting deep release of the front and back sides of the legs, as well as through the psoas and hip flexor area. We have about 1 minute left here, and then we're going to take another variation of this dragon pose. So I will leave you in silence to just tune inward, breathe through any discomfort, and find stillness here. Great job. When you're ready, we're going to go into our next variation of this pose by inhaling first, finding a straight spine once more, making sure those hips are still tucked under, belly button pulled into the spine. Then begin to twist from the belly button towards the right as you reach the right hand back for the left foot or ankle. If you can't reach that far today, you can always use a strap or a towel to wrap around the foot and just work on pulling it closer toward the glute. Breathe deeply with every exhale, beginning to pull that heel a little closer, twisting a little deeper as your body allows. We are working through the water element today, since it deals with being able to move around obstacles and barriers with ease. And often, many of the barriers and obstacles we face in life can be in our own mind. And we are targeting the meridians of the earth element, which is the spleen and stomach meridian also. because these meridians deal with our ability to have confidence, knowing our worth, and like the spleen and stomach, give us sustenance to do what we need to do in the world. So does our source of confidence and knowing truth about our worth. It grounds us deeply, like roots of a tree, giving us strength and endurance to walk through the difficult phases of life, difficult feelings about ourselves, and to move forward with strength and resilience. Stay focused, just a few more deep and controlled breaths here. Great job. When you're ready, release that back leg and gently find your way into tabletop once more. And in your own time, go ahead and step the left foot forward now. Again, trying to find that 90-degree angle with the front and the back leg. Interlace the fingers, placing the hands on that front knee. Inhale, making sure the spine is tall, tailbone tucked, belly button pulled in. And exhale as you press the hips forward, rounding through the upper back, chin tucking toward the chest. This time thinking about pulling that left hip back and pushing that right hip forward slightly, making sure the hips are staying square here. Noticing how these small micro adjustments can change the sensations and the effectiveness of our poses. Continue to bring a mindful awareness into our practice, noticing any things that are coming up for you in thought or emotion, any resistance in the body. Oftentimes, for those of us who lack confidence or self-esteem, we can be so used to hearing the voice of our inner critic that we begin to think that it's a part of us, believing that we don't have any power or choice in how we talk to ourselves and what we think about ourselves. But you have a lot more power and choice than you give yourself credit for. To begin to change that relationship with yourself, you first have to understand what that inner critic is trying to get from you, how it's attempting to serve you, what its needs are. And once you explore that and understand it better, you can then begin to change your relationship with yourself by changing the way that you speak to yourself and letting your inner critic know that ultimately you are the one in charge and who gets the final say, not that intrusive voice in your head. On your next exhale, go ahead and release the hands from the knee. Find that tall spine again as you inhale, making sure the hips are still tucked under. And then as you exhale, begin to twist from the belly button toward the left, reaching for that back ankle with the left hand this time. Inhaling deeply and exhaling slowly, letting go of any resistance you notice in the body. Every breath trying to pull that heel a little closer toward the glute. Practicing this breath control and awareness of our breath is such a wonderful practice to be in the habit of, because it teaches us to just notice what comes up for us and to be in control of where we shift our focus, choosing to tune back into the breath anytime the mind begins to wander. This is developing new neural pathways, new ways of processing information, and learning to respond with more thoughtfulness. We have about a minute left here, so I will leave you in silence again to just practice this awareness. Take one more deep inhale into the Dantian. And as you exhale, in your own time, find your way onto your back for a rebound. Arms resting at the sides, palms facing up. Gently tucking the shoulder blades down and back. And then just scan through the body, noticing the sensations that are occurring, any shifts that have taken place. Simply feeling the echo of the pose. Whenever you're ready, gently turn onto your left side and meet me in tabletop once more. Then we're going to step our right leg forward again, making sure that left hip is still aligned above the left knee. This time we are extending the front leg. But if you're not that flexible today and you have a bend in the front knee, that's also fine. Take an inhale as you lengthen through the spine. As you exhale, begin to fold from the hips with that straight back. Take one more breath in. And as you exhale, now allow the forehead to melt forward, reaching towards the shin. If your hands can't reach the floor today, then you can always place them on a block or a stack of books or dumbbells, whatever you have around that will work for you. And again, think about keeping the hips square by thinking about pushing that left hip forward and pulling the right hip back slightly. If you want to get into the outside of our shin and ankle like we did in our first pose, then you can gently turn the toes inward. Just noticing how this changes the sensation. Maybe using your hand to hold the foot in this position if you can reach. And once again, continue to breathe deeply, inhaling into those areas of tension. As you exhale, imagining that resistance melting out of the body. Continuing to follow the breath. The essence of the earth element is to endow us with the ability to stand behind our words and dreams with purpose and intent, and to give us clarity of thought and integrity. When our earth element is in balance, we're able to have a greater sense of sympathy and to connect and care for others as well as towards ourselves. But when this element is out of balance, it can often result in overgiving, overserving others, burning ourselves out, neglecting our own needs and self-care. We have less than a minute left on this side, so I will leave you in silence once more, and then we will continue this discussion on the other side. On your next exhale, gently step that front leg back into tabletop. And when you're ready, go ahead and step the left foot forward now. Once again, making sure the hip stays aligned over that back knee. And thinking about shifting the left hip back and right hip forward slightly to stay square. Inhale, making sure the spine is straight. As you exhale, begin to fold from the hips. Take another inhale, lengthening once more. And exhale, forehead melting forward towards the shin. Resting heavily here. Every exhale, seeing if you can melt a little bit deeper. And don't forget to turn those toes inward if you'd like to get a bit deeper into the lateral shin muscle. And while we're here, just notice if this side feels any different than the other side did. Being intentional about taking note of any imbalances in your own body. If you're one of those people who overgives to others and undergives to yourself, this may be a sign that you're trying to earn your worth. That instead of accepting that you are worthy of love and acceptance, but simply being as you are, feeling that you have to earn acceptance or approval. But in reality, each of us plays an essential role on this earth. Just like everything in nature is so intricate in detail and plays a role in our ecosystem and its functioning and ability to thrive, so does your very own life. So the first step we can take towards healing the world and others is by healing ourselves. So no matter what your life looks like, no matter the things you've done in the past, or how you feel about yourself currently, you are worthy of taking this time to heal, to love and be loved. We have just a little bit longer left on this side. Continue noticing anything that comes up for yourself and coming back to that breath. When you own your breath, no one can steal your peace. Wonderful job. When you're ready, gently release that front leg and find your way onto your back for a rebound. Once again, gently tucking the shoulder blades back and down. Just scanning through the body, feeling the echo of the pose. Finding relaxation here. In your own time, go ahead and turn on to your left side, making your way up to seated for our last pose of the day. We're going to take our saddle pose now. So we're going to do this by starting on the knees, sitting back on our glutes, making sure the heels are next to our hips and that we aren't sitting on the heels. The feet can be pointed or turned out toward the side, whichever way feels best for you. Now, if you can't sit in this pose, then feel free to place a block or a bolster under the glutes to lift you up a bit. Or you can even take a single leg saddle, just extending one leg straight and switching halfway through. Inhale, finding length in the spine. As you exhale, if you're able to go further, begin to walk the hands backwards, maybe resting the elbows on a bolster, on the ground, or if you can, lay all the way down onto your back, then reach the arms overhead, feeling this full extension through the body. Inhale deep into the Dantian and exhale fully and slowly, continuing to connect with your inner self for our last few minutes here. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works, my soul knows it very well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was being made in secret, intricately woven in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed substance. In your book were written, every one of them, the days that were formed for me, when as yet there was none of them. A minute and a half left here. When you're ready, if you're on your full saddle, bring yourself up to the elbows, Walk the hands back up as you release the legs, and then roll your spine down one vertebrae at a time as you find your way into our Savasana. Tucking the shoulder blades down and back once more, palms facing up toward the sky. Take another inhale into the Dantian, feeling the belly rise. And exhale fully and slowly, feeling your body melt deeper against the mat. Scanning for any remaining tension in the body. And with your next exhale, imagining it melt away, letting go of anything that isn't serving you in this moment. I'd invite you to stay in your Shavasana even longer today if you have time. But if you're ready to finish with me and move on with your day, then on your next exhale, gently turn onto your right side and meet me seated at the center of the mat for our final closing breaths together. Take a deep inhale as you reach the arms overhead, waking up the body with a big stretch. And exhale, hands to prayer at heart center. One more time, inhaling as you reach tall. And exhale, hands to prayer. As you take a bow, acknowledging yourself for taking this time to honor your mind and body in this way today. You are not a drop in the ocean, but the ocean in one drop. Thank you so much for choosing to watch my video and for practicing with me today. As always, if you enjoyed this class, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss any of my future classes. Thanks again for joining me and for supporting this channel. I will see you soon, friends. Namaste.